Hello again. Welcome back here to the World Football Summit 19. Bienvenidos de nuevo a otro panel del World Football Summit 19 aquí en Madrid. We're going to talk about right now about driving business through the power of community. And for that, we're going to have here Keke Levy from Facebook speaking about his company's plan to design, consult and implement a new digital strategy for sports partners and stakeholders. A partir de ahora vamos a tener aquí una presentación individual de Keke Levy de Facebook, que nos va a hablar de todos sus planes de estrategia y la importancia además de construir una comunidad en torno, en este caso, a Facebook. Así que, a warm clap for Keke Levy from Facebook, please. Keke. Bienvenido. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here back at the World Football Summit. And before starting my presentation, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me one more year. Over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about our vision, and especially I'm going to talk about the role Facebook plays in the sport industry. First, I'm going to start with the mission we have as a company. It's incredible when I joined Facebook, you realize how important is this mission to the company, and everything we do, it's driven to fulfill that mission. At Facebook, we have the mission of give the power to build community and bring the world closer together. And I'm going to be talking a lot about community and about the power of community, because community is key to actually fulfill your goals and your business goals on Facebook. If you were yesterday at the presentation that Hilmarin did, he talked a lot about how important it is to have a big community around their team and how they were targeting to get up to 150,000 members on the club, because a big club with a big mass is what makes the team great. So if you think about the role that sports could play in this mission we have of bringing the world closer together and build community, it naturally fits in our strategy. Sports, it's something that brings people together naturally. I think when you go to a new city, you go and talk to the taxi driver, automatically you create a connection if he's following football or if he follows the same thing as you. Sport is also an anchor to many successful businesses. And especially as we are building our video business, sport has proved to be a very successful anchor to create those video businesses, and this is going to become more and more important. And the most important thing is that we have a huge community of sports fans on Facebook and Instagram. If you look about Facebook, we have around 700 million people connected to sport pages, and we have 300 million people on Instagram following sports. On Instagram, that means one user every 3. So for us as a sports team within Facebook, our mission is to really amplify the uniting power of sports to build community, connect the fans to the content they love more, and especially create a sustainable value for our partners. Because if we don't create that sustainable value for our partners, we will not get all the community building and all the video we want, and it's so important to our business. And I think we are in a very unique position to fulfill that goal and the mission. If you think about how sports fandom have changed over the last 15 years, if you think how you used to consume the game on TV, how you need to catch up on the game, on the news on the next day. So the behavior was very fragmented. If you wanted to talk about the game, you need to wait until the next day to go back to work, to go to the bar maybe, to start talking about with your friends about the game. If you wanted to buy tickets, you had to go to the ticket booth to buy the ticket physically. And if you want to go buy merchandise, you had to go to the mall or to the shop. If you think about that behavior today, more and more things are happening simultaneously on the same device, on the same platforms. And more of this behavior is happening on our platform as well. You can be watching the game while you're talking to your friends, and at the same time you're reading the opinions from experts. And also you can be buying tickets for the next game online, and at the same time you can be buying merchandise. And I think this behavior and the capabilities of our platform put us in a very, very unique position to drive a lot of value to the sport industry. Our focus when it comes to the work we do with our partners, it's around 4 key pillars. The first one is the audience development. Our partners are using our platform a lot to develop their audience and reach new fans and keep engaging with those existing fans. The second pillar is around sponsorship and how you can create more value for the existing sponsorship deals that teams, leagues have. Also, you cannot forget that Facebook is one of the biggest marketing platforms in the world, and a lot of brands are using Facebook and Instagram and the targeting capabilities to drive that direct response and create an action and sell their products. And the fourth one, the one that is getting more attention and that I'm going to talk about also, is media distribution. You can use Facebook really to distribute your content and get to your fans and your community. I'm going to start developing more around the idea of audience development, and I'm going to talk with examples how some sports properties are managing this situation and are developing their audience. Remember that we have 700 million sports fans on Facebook and 300 million sports fans on Instagram. And we also have within Facebook some products that will help you create and engage with that core community. And a good example is Facebook groups. MLB is using Facebook groups to engage with their audience and especially with the more deeper fans. You have to think about Facebook groups as like the sports bar. It's like the place where the more heavy fans will come to interact and create content around your property. MLB, what it's doing is they have one Facebook group for each of the 30 teams, and the interesting thing is that the fans are creating a lot of content and interaction around those Facebook groups. On average, they post 1,200 posts per day, generating around 36,000 interactions on a daily basis. If you compare that engagement with the previous season, we're seeing a 60% increase on the engagement that MLB is seeing on their 30 Facebook groups. But the most interesting thing is that this is also affecting the media distribution they're getting, because people that belong to a group and are engaging with MLB in a group are consuming more MLB content. MLB have a really strong strategy of highlights, so when there's a game, at the end of the game, they post the highlights on Facebook for people to catch up on what happened on the game. People that belong to a group tend to watch 82% longer and 82% more videos and consume more content for MLB than people that are not on the Facebook group. Also, Instagram is a great sample of how you can reach new fans, especially those younger fans, and how you can create community. We have in stories over 500 million people using it daily, and sometimes we have big football players, like this example of Paul Pogba, when they won the World Cup, using that platform to engage with the fans. The interesting thing is that here we're seeing a unique content, and we're seeing a unique connection the behind the scene and getting access where no one was able to get before, because the player is creating that connection, that direct connection to the fan. Also, the example we have on the right about augmented reality. You know, in Facebook Stories we have filters, and now we're giving the possibility to users to create their own filters. This is a partnership we did with the IOC to celebrate the 1 year to go for Tokyo 2020. That way, the IOC was engaging with the audience and creating the warm-up to make the people excited about the Olympics that were 1 year ahead. Now I'm going to talk about sponsorship, and sponsorship represents one of the biggest revenue drivers for the sport industry overall. And Facebook and Instagram give you a really good opportunity to engage with the audience and to create more value to your sponsor and even create new assets. Because at the end of the day, the places you have on your shirt, the places you have on your stadium, those are limited. But on Facebook and Instagram, you can create as much content as you want to drive that value back to your sponsor. So in a way, it gives you an unlimited capability to create new assets for the sponsors. And one very good example is Manchester City. What Manchester City did recently with their main sponsor, Etihad, is that they create around the content series around freestyle and football. So basically, what they did was they created this show, a 7-episode show, where they were taking some of the best freestylers on football, and they were making challenges all around the world in different Etihad destinations. At the end, the last episode, Pep Guardiola was like the judge, and on the Etihad Stadium in Manchester, they were deciding who was the best freestyler in the world. The interesting thing is that the strategy the Man City and Etihad did was really coordinated between them. So Manchester City was publishing the videos, the freestyle videos in the different destinations, and at the same time, Etihad was creating video content around these different destinations and using that video content to target people, retarget people that had consumed already the content from Manchester City. So they were using the club as a distribution channel to get the audience and try to drive their ticket sale, which very interesting results. I mentioned it before, Facebook and Instagram it's one of the biggest marketing platforms, and a lot of brands are using our targeting tool and our ads tool to really drive those sales and get the return on investment. And we're going to see now a couple of examples of sports properties that are using Facebook ads to drive their business goal in a very smart way. We're very excited about shopping on Instagram. This is something we recently launched, and it's an area where we are exploring, and we think we have huge opportunities, and especially there are a lot of opportunities for partners. This is an example of an NFL player, Edelman. He launched a merchandise clothing brand, and he used Instagram to sell it completely. We recently now check out on Instagram, so you can tap into a product. So if you see a post from Instagram, you can see the product that are tagged, and then directly on Instagram you can do the checkout for a very smooth and safe transition. The success of that Edelman has as one of the first users and one of the first athletes to use Instagram shopping was incredible. Like with the total sold out. I'm going to give you one piece of data. There are 130 million people tapping to discover the products that are available on shopping monthly on Instagram. And another area where we're seeing very good success is with OTT subscription and subscriptions in general. Here's just an example of Premier Sports. What Premier Sports did was they created an audience based on the people that were engaging with the content. So Premier Sports was putting a lot of content, a lot of interesting content for the fans, and then they were using that people that engage with the content together with the people that were following, in this case, the Scottish Cup, plus general football fans in Scotland, to target those users on Facebook and Instagram and try to drive subscriptions to their OTT service. The results were very, very good. They got over 4,000 subscribers and 18x return on ad spend. So really, when you complement the content strategy, a strong content organic strategy with Facebook ads, you can drive those business results and achieve excellent results. And the last point, the last thing I'm going to talk about is media distribution. Probably this is the area where we're seeing more interest, especially from the news, and where we're driving like the big headlines. First, I'm going to make a refresh on Facebook Watch. Facebook Watch is our video destination. It's the place where we want people to go and consume video on Facebook. But Facebook Watch is not just another destination. Our goal is not to create a different destination where people will go and consume content. What we really want is create a destination for social video. On Facebook Watch, what we're doing is putting together the power of the social media, so all the conversation, all the reaction, the capability to share, to experience that sense of belonging through video, with the entertainment and the video consumption. For us, it's key in our strategy how we create that social video experience. And we want fans to be part of the shows and influence the content somehow. And I'm going to give you some examples that we see very successful, and especially within sport, content categories that are working really well. Live sport, of course, is a great example of a social video experience. If you think about live sport on Facebook, at the time you are watching the game, the same time you can be commenting and sending messages, you can be interacting with the audience, and we've seen some partners creating really engaged broadcasts and changing the way they were producing. Other content categories that are working really well is original shows and series. This is example I'm showing now is our series we did with Tom Brady, Tom versus Time. That was a work with an Emmy. So we are pretty proud that we got a traditional TV award for a completely digital series. But what made this series work on Facebook was not just the way it was produced, was just not the content or the quality of the content, the access. It was really all the things that we built around the content. During the time where the show was airing, and if I don't remember wrong, there were like 8 or 9 episodes. Tom Brady was constantly engaging with the audience in different ways. The series had a group. Tom Brady used to go live in the group, try to promote the next episode coming in, and there was this sense of community building around the content, which was really surprising and where we've seen the highest success. Another content series that is working really well, it's game recaps and highlights. At the end, when you think about what people want to share and what people want to consume, highlights is a really good content for our platform. People can come to our platform to catch up on what they miss, and especially they can share that with their friends. They can share that favorite moment with all their friends, and that's where we see the interaction and the conversation happening. Another thing that it's natural fit for our platform, it's what we call the shoulder programming. So we know when there's a big sport event, there's a lot of conversation and there's a lot of interaction around what's happening, and you don't need to watch the actual live broadcast on Facebook because you know there's going to be a lot of content around the game to consume it. This is an example of Canelo that was publishing before his last fight, how they were putting all the gloves and showing like a different and unique point of view. And this is key for the sport fans in the way they're engaging now with the content. It's not just about the live broadcast, it's about everything that is around it. And I think a really good example that summarizes our vision for Watch and how we see social video is the deal we did with La Liga to distribute all the games live on Facebook for the Indian subcontinent. And the biggest success story we have around this is around the interaction. It's incredible the way people are interacting with the content and the influence these people is having on the actual broadcast. We have tools that makes the lives very interactive, like for example the polling. So we're basically doing polls during every live game, and the numbers are just insane. From all the viewers, we seeing 90% people voting on a poll. So that means from all the viewers, you're getting 90% engagement on the polls and people replying to the polls. In total, across all the polls we did last season, we generated over 1.1 million votes. Our record was during the Betis against FC Barcelona in March, and I think, if I don't remember wrong, was 55% of the people that were watching the game vote when they saw the question. So 55% engagement of the people that were watching. And this strategy has proven right also, not only for us, but also for La Liga, because La Liga is reaching a completely new audience that was not reached before. 82% of the viewers of La Liga are under 35. So in an age where we are worried about the age of the sport fans in general, if you look at data from the MLB, you have an average sport fan with over 50 years. And in that era, we've seen that with Facebook and Instagram, you can reach that younger audience and you can develop your next generation of fans. And the most interesting thing is that India has become the #1 country in terms of followers for La Liga. So on Facebook, the country where La Liga has more followers, it's India, and we're seeing a huge increase over the last year and the last season. But at the end, our funded deals and our premium deal, just to call it in somehow, it's just a small, very, very small portion of all the content you can find on Facebook Watch. Actually, our vision And what we want to achieve is to create a video destination where our content creators, our content publisher, will get the value just by publishing the videos on the platform through our monetization product called ad breaks. We are not going to buy rights like crazy. This is something we did, just some strategic bets, and we will continue to do some strategic bets in certain territories and content categories. But at the end, the majority of our content, our sport content on the platform, comes in organically. So just to summarize, and if you had to walk away today with one thing around what's Facebook strategy on sports and what's the role Facebook plays on the sport industry, that message for me will be like, we just don't do one thing. We are not focused on media distribution, even though that has been getting the big headlines. What we do is really try to help our partners to create more value for their businesses. And when I talked about more value for the businesses, it's all around these four pillars that I've been describing. Audience development and engaging with that next generation, creating new fans and engaging with existing fans, because at the end, that's what will make sport property big. How we can help our partners drive more sales, and how can we help our partner drive more conversion, whether that is subscriptions, that it's ticket sales, merchandise sales. We really are in a position to help our partners to drive those incremental sales. We really see a huge opportunities in creating more value for sponsors and create the new assets that will drive those numbers and those metrics and will justify better the return on investment sponsors are doing in a particular sport property. And of course, media distribution. We have a huge scale, a platform with over 700 million sport fans, and those fans have hungry to consume more sport content. So just to sum up, we are here to help the overall sport industry, and we really don't have one key focus, but we'll be helping our partners and working with our partners to help them drive their business. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kike Levy from Facebook. Congratulations for your job as well. The next panel is going to be a very special panel. You know Michael Robinson, you know Peter Moore from Liverpool FC, and you may know the song, You Will Never Walk Alone. I don't know if you know the lyrics, when you walk through the storm, but anyway, in 5 minutes we will have them here in a very special Q&A session, okay? En unos minutos vamos a tener aquí a Peter Moore, CEO del Liverpool, y también a Michael Robinson, una leyenda y además periodista también, ahora mismo y comentarista de televisión aquí en España, para hablar precisamente del éxito del Liverpool FC, del Liverpool Football Club, aquí precisamente en una sesión muy especial de Q&A. 5 minutes and we'll be right back. Thank you very much. En 5 minutos volvemos.